ya, me laddies and lasses, and welcome to Dan's Bar! Today we are doing a couple of Scotch cocktails. Both very simple cocktails, but I feel that there hasn't been enough Scotch on this channel, and given how much I enjoy it, I figured it may as well go ahead and be good to try them in some cocktails. So today we're doing two different Scotch cocktails, the Bobby Burns and the Rob Roy. Now, the Rob Roy is very much similar to a Manhattan, but made with Scotch. Whereas a Bobby Burns is a little bit more of a twist on it. Still Scotch and Vermouth based, but with a little bit of Benedictine as well. So if you think about it, this is your Rob Roy, this is your Bobby Burns. So fundamentally, they both have Vermouth, they both have Scotch, different final edition. That's what makes them all unique and delightful. So we'll go ahead and get started with the Rob Roy because that one does not have Vermouth. And because these are both stirred and served, well, not shaken, we're going to reuse this, and so I don't have to rinse it out, I'm going to do the one with Vermouth last, because these two basically share everything, all the other ingredients. So for this one, we're going to be doing 2 ounces of a Bruichladdich Scotch. This one is a single malt, so it is a better one than I would ordinarily use for a cocktail, but it's got a lot of nice fruity notes to it, a lot of earthy tones. Because this is something you would often make with a rye, I think that this one has a lot of similar characteristics, while also having that Scotch light hint of peat, not overly peaty, but all that Highland goodness you would expect out of a Scotch. So I think this is going to be a really nice replacement for what would normally be a rye whiskey in a Manhattan. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 ounces of this guy. Get that beautiful Scotch in color. Yummy in my belly, here it comes. That's right, it's another double feature today. Not science fiction though. Had to get that joke in there somewhere, had to happen. Alright, now we're going to do 1 ounce of a Vermouth, just to go along with that. And this is a dry Vermouth, so this is technically a dry Rob Roy, but I think it's going to be just dandy, and it's the one I have open. And I don't like them to oxidize too much, so I usually only keep 1 Vermouth open at a time. And that's about it, besides some bitters. So we're going to add some Angostura for color, and some orange bitters for some flavor in there as well. Now, I was sipping on this one last night, and I don't know why. Frankly, I can't understand it, but when I'm sipping it, you don't taste it, but you get this sense of overpowering orange dreamsicle. I don't know why, but I got that a lot. So we're also adding some orange bitters into there as well, because I think that will go very nicely with the different flavors that you're getting in the Scotch itself. So we're going to go ahead and make some room here. Move that out of the way. It's not a gorgeous bottle. It's very recognizable, it's pretty, and the contents, also top notch. So we're going to go ahead and give this a stir, and this is going to be served because it's similar to a Manhattan, and I like my Manhattans on the rocks. We're going on the rocks. So we'll give this a stir, come back, and finish up with the Bobby Burns. Alright, I think that's about good, so we'll go ahead and pour this on top of our giant transparent ice cube in our rocks glass. And it looks small because my ice cube hasn't quite made its way all the way to the bottom yet. It was slightly too big for the glass, and apparently I can't keep ice in my shaker. There we go. So as this does stir around, it will slowly fill itself up. So, silly me, I didn't trim my ice cubes. What on earth was I thinking? It's a rookie move. That's what it is. Well, let's go ahead and give this guy a try. The Rob Roy. It does taste a whole lot like a Manhattan. The Vermouth is really good. I almost feel like I should have used a more potent, a more peat-forward Scotch. It's very, very tasty, but the Scotch kind of disappears a little bit under the Vermouth. The bitters are nicely balanced. Those aren't overpowering, but the Vermouth kind of does come forward, that sweetness, that almost oxidation. But the combination of flavors, you get the flavor, the fruitiness, the herbalness out of the Scotch, plus everything else. Very good. All right, we're doing a double feature. Number 2 is going to be the Bobby Burns, which is similar, but rather than going in the direction of the Manhattan, we're going to add some Benedictine for good measure. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and add a bit more ice to my container, and we're going to do equal parts of Vermouth and a Scotch. In this case, I am using a Johnny Walker Blend Explorers Club. This one's pretty spicy, which I think is going to go well with the Benedictine that gives you more of those spiced flavor notes. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces of our Benedictine and 1.5 ounces of our Vermouth. 1.5 ounces of Benedictine would be a lot. So 1.5 ounces of Vermouth, and we'll complement that with 1.5 ounces of our tasty Johnny Walker Scotch. And I do have quite a few. I will say the Johnnie Walker Double Black is my favorite after the green, but the green can be pretty hard to find. Those have a little more peat forwardness to them, but all of them are quite tasty for blends. Obviously not quite as much differentiation as you would have with a single malt, but all very tasty nonetheless. Finally going to cap that off with a half an ounce of our Benedictine, just for that nice, very, very, very herbal forward floral flavors. And that is going to cap off our Bobby Burns. So now we'll go ahead and give this one a stir, and this one will go into a coupe, just cause. So, one more stir. All right, about good. Go ahead and decanting into our coupe to complete our pair of Scotch-based cocktails for today. Look at that beautiful golden color. That's just gorgeous. All right, and our Bobby Burns. That is tasty. That's a lot of vermouth. The vermouth actually, it's too much vermouth. I would cut the vermouth in half. So maybe 1.5 ounces, or 2 ounces and 1 ounce. So 2 parts Scotch, 1 part vermouth. Makes it a little bit cloying, covers up the other flavors, but you do still get some of the kind of spicy notes from the Scotch and some of the spice from Benedictine, but balance on this is not quite as good. So definitely would cut down on the vermouth. It's very, if you like vermouth, spot on, which it is good, but want some more Scotch out of it. In any case, we have 2 Scotch cocktails. I would amend this one to do 2 parts Scotch, 1 part vermouth. Otherwise, we got 2 delightful cocktails made with Scotch here. Hopefully everyone's doing well, staying safe, staying cool, because it's hotter than hell outside. But until we drink again, cheers.